Well, hello and welcome to Chem 111 Lab. That is first semester general chemistry lab. I am, well, if those of you in 120 lecture probably recognize this voice. And I'm the same guy, that's why it sounds familiar. John A. Strong. Again, I emphasize the middle initial because there are two John Strongs here at NTRIP. I'm the one with the A as a middle initial, and he's not. So you're looking for John A. Strong if you're looking for me. While we basically wait for our first actual lab day, we'll first start out by going over the general background information for the course, how things are done, and that sort of thing. So I thought I'd go over the syllabus. As with the lecture, this course will be run entirely off of Blackboard and your T-Wolves email account also for some things. And so you want to be sure to check both Blackboard and your T-Wolves email frequently. So starting with the syllabus, and then we'll look at the schedule, and then we'll talk a little bit about our activities going forward in the lab. So my name you already know, my email you probably already know too, jo.strong@niagaracc.suny.edu. Again, the other John Strong was here first, so he got the normal email, and I got this weird one. The good news for lab class is that there is no book for you to buy. The lab experiments will be entirely in the form of handouts, or well, not literally handouts, but they will be, the procedures will be posted on Blackboard, and you can download them and print them if you want, or just read them on Blackboard, and you can do what you need to do and then submit them, and no interaction to the bookstore with the bookstore required, fortunately. You do also need a scientific calculator. You already need one for the class, so if you have one for the class, you can use the same one here. And you need to be able to read PDFs on whatever device you're using for this class this semester. This is the laboratory portion of a two-semester sequence in general chemistry. Normally, we get hands-on experience in the lab, but that's obviously not going to happen this semester. What we hope to achieve this semester is some really good background information and at least sort of an intellectual knowledge of the procedures and techniques that are used in the chemistry lab. Next semester, if you take 113 lab, we will be meeting at least partly face-by-face or face-to-face in the second summer session. So you will get a chance for hands-on activities then that you're not getting now. Basically, the lab assignments are going to be posted, actually it's 3 times a week, not 2 times, well, 2 times a week this week and 2 times a week, I guess, in the last week. But most of the weeks will be 3 times a week. The in-person lab would be meeting on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday if we were meeting face-to-face. And as with the lecture, I'm going to try to maintain more or less that same schedule. So I'm planning on well, I may post the experiments early, but I will post them as if we were doing them on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So there will be 3 experiments per week, and you can do them. And the due dates will be 1 week from the posting. So if the lab is posted on a Wednesday, it will be due the following Wednesday. If it's posted on a Thursday, it'll be due the following Thursday, and so on. The experiments will be posted as PDFs on the Blackboard website. That's why you need to be able to read PDFs. They're generally more widely readable than Word documents are. So be sure that you've got the PDFs, ability to read those. And essentially what you're going to do is look at the procedure for the experiment. You're going to do what it tells you to. The reports, basically a report format will be provided for you. In most cases, if you print the document out, or at least the report pages of the document, you can fill the numbers in where, where they ask for data. And there may be some questions, so you can answer the questions in the spaces provided, and then you can turn that piece of paper in. Now, the way you can turn the paper in a class that's not face-to-face would be to scan it, or scan it or take a photograph of it and attach it to an email and send it to me that way. Or you can actually do that for Blackboard too. You can hand it in through Blackboard if you want to. If you want to type up your answers, you can do them, say, in a Word file or a PDF, and send that as an email attachment. Or if you really want to, you can type it directly into an email and send it that way. But anyway, you can send them to my email. Some of the student learning outcomes, what you're going to learn in this lab, we're hoping, would be being able to demonstrate the proper use of laboratory equipment and safe handling of chemicals, or at least knowledge about the proper use and safe handling of chemicals, and demonstrate accuracy in laboratory operations, that is, how to collect good data, how to do accurate calculations with those data, and that kind of thing. All right, so moving on, let's see, not to spend too much time on stuff you've already read. This is an online course, of course, taught through Blackboard. And I don't know how this got in here, sorry. The bit about the required textbook and the Connect website, that comes from another another syllabus for a different class. So again, there is no required textbook or any kind of web platform other than Blackboard for this class, so you can ignore that part. You'll have access to the content 24/7, and you can access the the lab write-ups anytime, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be available 24/7, so keep that in mind. I do answer questions very promptly, though, so if you have a question, just send it to my email, and you'll probably get an answer pretty quickly. Unless it's 3 a.m. or something, I'm not answering emails then. The course does also have due dates. Remember, the lab reports are due within 1 week of when they're posted, and normally they will be posted on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So you should definitely check Blackboard on those days and be sure that you have all the labs in on time. Late lab reports will be accepted, but there will be a point penalty for being late. So it would be good to avoid that. Let's see. For attendance, we can basically tell who's doing what online, because all this stuff is registered and recorded. And so be sure that you're keeping up with things and actually I'm just noticing here that something else crept in from another syllabus. So this part about being 3 credits over 15 weeks, you can ignore that sentence too, the entire sentence, including the amount of time. This class probably won't take you a whole lot of time. It's only 1 credit spread over 6 weeks, which is less than half the length of a normal semester, but the class, really, to be frank about it, is not all that difficult. So yeah, I don't think it'll take you 9.6 hours per week, but we'll see. The grading will be 90% for lab reports and 10% for the discussion. The discussion is basically the same thing, same kind of thing. It's not the same discussion, but it's the same idea as what we're doing for 120 lecture. But before we get to that, let's mention that lab reports will be graded on accuracy, so you do need to get the right answers to get full credit, but there will be partial credit available too, so it's not all or nothing. At the end of the semester, the lowest lab report score will be dropped, and the rest of them will be counted. And late work, again, will be accepted, but there will be a point penalty. Now, for the discussion, the lab, like the lecture, is broken up into what they call modules. And so there has to be at least one discussion per module. And in order to engage in this discussion, you basically just follow the directions that are listed under the discussion in each module in Blackboard. And it tells you that you need to have a certain minimum number of posts, a certain minimum number of responses, and those posts and responses will be judged according to these criteria. This whole discussion thing is a requirement of the various accrediting bodies that accredit the college, and so don't worry, it wasn't my idea. But yeah, we do have to do it. And so if you want to get the full 100% of the possible 10%, then you'll follow this, you know, the top box here where it says excellent. The grade array is the same as it is for the lecture. 93 and up would be an A, and then it goes down from there. A lot of this is sort of boilerplate that was in the lecture syllabus also, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But remember that this is a regular college course, and it will require the same amount of work as if we were meeting in person. It's just that you don't actually have to come to campus. That's the only area in which there's a little less work. It is a little more student-centered in the sense that it relies on you to have the initiative to come to the website and do the work, which does require a little bit more discipline than just going to class does. So now be sure that you keep up with the work, because if you fall behind in the summer, it's really, really hard to catch up because the session is so short. It would be a really good idea to print out a copy of the course schedule and keep it by your computer so that you'll have one for each course you're taking. This is, sorry, I just noticed something else crept in from another syllabus. So I don't know what happened with this one. Sorry about that. But anyway, it says this course is available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but there are due dates. And of course, as I've said a couple times now, I do accept late assignments, but there will be a point penalty. So you can, how about the do not accept late assignments part? You can cross that out. Okay. The part about expecting you to log on and spend at least 3 hours 3 times a week in this course, you may not really need to spend that much time on this 1 credit lab course, but it's going to vary from person to person. So basically you need to spend whatever it takes to get the work done. If you're really good and can think things through fast, you'll be spending quite a bit less time than that. Otherwise, you might actually be spending more time than that. For the labs, there will be introductory videos for the labs similar to this one, but those introductory videos will probably not be very long. I'm hoping that they won't be more than maybe half an hour each at most. But during those videos, I will give you some pointers on doing experiments, some background information, stuff that might not be explained in the handout, and then you can actually look at the handout and actually do the experiment. But I would definitely advise watching those videos first before actually doing the, trying to do the experiment. Some of the experiments have videos that you have to watch. Be sure that you watch them because some of the answers to some of the questions are in those videos. So let's see. When you engage in the discussions or writing the lab reports for that matter, you should use proper writing skills, proper grammar, proper spelling, capitalization, that kind of thing. These are not text messages to your buddies. These are, reports submitted for a grade in a college course. So you should definitely treat them that way. And during the online discussions, now if you've ever read comments in any number of websites, you may be familiar with the phenomenon how going online seems to turn some people into real jerks. Well, don't let that happen to you. So be sure to be courteous and considerate of the other people's comments. No profanity, no death threats, no "I'll kill your dog" or anything like that. Keep it nice, keep it simple, and everything will be fine. Be sure to have, like I said with the lecture, be sure to have an alternate plan in case of technical problems. Technical problems do happen, so be sure that you have another computer you can use if yours goes bad. Be sure that you have another internet connection you can use if yours goes bad, and so on and so forth. Okay, and that's it for the syllabus, I think. The first official meeting of this course is not until Wednesday. This will probably be posted Monday or Tuesday. So, and the first day's activity will involve this video. It says organizational Zoom meeting, but the Zoom, and it sounds like that's something that you have to be on at a certain time. But actually, this recording is the Zoom meeting, and it's being recorded on Zoom. So, that's what we meant by that. Also posted on Blackboard, you will find a math activity sheet, which is just some calculations, math, calculations that we want you to work on. And those will be collected and will be graded. So those will be due in 1 week. And it's pretty simple stuff. So basically, as long as you do it, you get the credit. And we do that just to make sure that you know how to use your calculator. Some people coming into this course might never have used a scientific calculator before, or you might have a new scientific calculator that works differently from the ones you had before. So we want to make sure that you know how to use that calculator before you actually get into stuff and actually have to do stuff that might lose you credit with the calculator. So we actually not only sorry, long day. Not only is it okay to use your calculator with the math activity, we actually want you to use your calculator with the math activity, just to make sure that that you know how to use it. In a week, once the math activities have been submitted, I will, since you'll still have a copy of it, since you're only submitting electronic copies to me or photographs or whatever, you'll still have the original copies. So once they're in, I will post the answers to the math activity, and then you can compare the correct answers to your answers and see where you went wrong. Okay, the first real experiment will be, well, I don't know if you call it real experiment. It doesn't actually involve doing much, but on Thursday, we will have an experiment that's entitled Intro to Safety. And that will involve watching some safety videos about, safety in the laboratory. Normally, we would make you listen to this in person because you would be in the laboratory and actually using chemicals. The reason that we're doing this now is because that's traditionally the first session of lab that we do. And also because, again, we are planning on running the labs at least part-time in person during the second session. And so it certainly wouldn't hurt for you to have some exposure to safety considerations in advance, as well as on the first day, next session. And so that will involve watching the videos, answering some questions, and so on. So again, that will be due a week from the 28th, which would be June 4th. And then we'll go on from there. You notice down towards the bottom, there's one experiment that's to be announced. So we haven't decided what experiment to do there. And in the last week or so, there are several days where there are no meetings. That's partly to give you time to work on this news article project, in case you haven't done it already. The news article project will be explained in more detail when it's posted. It will be posted soon, though, even though it's not due until the end of the session, because we want to give you time to work on it. It's not a really big deal, but it does involve looking up some stuff and sort of synthesizing materials on a couple of different news articles in, say, recent reputable publications that involve chemistry in some way. And then you have to discuss the significance of the topics and a few other things. So that will be posted soon, but that unlike the other labs, will not be due 1 week after it's posted. It'll be due on July 2nd. Okay? And again, we give you a few days off around that time in case you haven't quite finished it up yet. Okay? So that is the schedule. That is all I really wanted to do during this introductory session. So you got off easy today. I will be posting the math activities, so be sure to look for that and to do that. And until next time, goodbye.